Aye. Any opposed? None opposed. It passes 7-0. Next item.
Next item is awarding the bid for the purchase of two 41-passenger school buses to Mid-South Bus Center. These are replacements. You can see the unit price, the additional options that were selected, as well as the trade-in value for each one. So we're asking that you approve this purchase, again, replacement purchase for two school buses.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, would you please publish?
A resolution awarding the bid for purchase of two 41-passenger school buses to Mid-South Bus Center, Inc., and authorizing the city manager to execute a purchase order for the same.
James will make you a good deal.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's on the floor. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None opposed. It passes 7-0. Next item.
Next item is approve conveyance of an easement to authorize the mayor to execute the same and any other documents necessary. This is for the property at 2301 Netherland Inn Road. This property is adjacent to our green belt. There's also a service road and a parking lot that exists there. We've had an agreement with the former owner for quite some time, and this simply transfers that and establishes that same easement agreement with the new owners of 2301 Netherland Inn Road. So we would ask that you approve this resolution.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, would you publish, please?
A resolution approving an ingress-egress easement, which includes a parking lot easement for property located at 2301 Netherland Inn Road, and authorizing the mayor to execute the easement and all other documents necessary and proper to effectuate the purpose of the easement.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's on the floor. Is there any discussion?
Mayor, I will be abstaining from this.
Yes, ma'am.
This isn't something we have to approve every time the house sells, is it?
No.
Okay.
Any other discussion or comments? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 6-0-1, meaning one abstention. Next item.
Next item is awarding the bid for the purchase of 3 extended cab with utility body trucks. This is for our water and wastewater departments. These are replacements, and the bid went to Worldwide Ford Sales. Simply ask that you all approve the resolution for these replacement vehicles.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, would you please publish?
A resolution awarding the bid for the purchase of 3 extended cab with utility body to Worldwide Ford Sales, and authorizing the city manager to execute a purchase order for the same.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
It's on the floor. Does anyone wish to discuss? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed. It passes 7-0. Next item.
Next item is to enter into an agreement with Club Assistance for online swim meet registration for Masters Viperfish Swim Team. The Viperfish is the master swim team for the Kingsport Aquatic Center. For quite some time, the team has been traveling to various places within the southeast for swim meets. There's a desire both through Visit Kingsport as well as the Aquatic Center to be able to host our own meets. In order to do so, we need to form an agreement with the software company so that we can begin using the standard registration form that would be available for participants. And so we just simply ask that you all approve the resolution, allowing us to enter into this agreement and begin using the software.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, would you please publish?
A resolution approving an agreement with Club Assistant for online swim meet registration for Masters Viperfish Swim Team, and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement and all other documents necessary and proper to effectuate the purpose of the agreement.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None opposed. It passes 7-0. Next item.
Next item is to approve the issuance of certificates of compliance for businesses to sell retail alcoholic beverages. This is something we do on an annual basis. You'll see those 9 package stores listed there. Simply ask that you all approve the issuance of this certificate. Mike, is this to a motion?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's on the floor. Is there any discussion?
I'll be abstaining.
Alderman Phillips will abstain,
I'll also be abstaining.
and the vice mayor will abstain. Is there any other discussion or comment? If not, all those.
I purchase
Yes, sir.
occasionally. Do I have to abstain?
No, you're okay, I
Oh,
think,
okay.
but I'm not an attorney.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. It passes 5-0-2, meaning 2 abstentions. And Mr. City Manager, please proceed.
That concludes the agenda and move into communications. And 3 things. One, I just again extend my congratulations to the cross-country team and all those outstanding athletes. Have had an opportunity to hear a lot about that team through one of our employees, and so I've been very, very pleased to see the success over the years and great achievements for those young ladies. Also, I want to leave you with 4 names: Barbara Lane, Ronnie Hammonds, Judy Smith, and Ron Haynes. Those individuals at the end of the month will have retired from the city of Kingsport. Collectively, they represent over 150 years of service to the city of Kingsport. Many of them were here a long time before I came. One of those was here before I was even born. But the service they have provided, the reception that they have received from their fellow employees has been outstanding. In many ways, they represent what is best about the city of Kingsport, and that's our employees and the work that they do. And so my hat's off to them for their service. I appreciate many of you all who've been able to attend their retirement receptions. It was greatly appreciated by them. And the last thing I'll say is, from the staff to the board and from the staff to the citizens, we wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We hope that your Christmas is delightful wherever and however you are spending that, as well as your holiday time. And we also ask that you have a safe holiday season and a safe New Year. So, Mayor, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. I'll start down with Alderman Phillips this time.
Well, my comments almost are identical to city managers. I just, before I even knew what a board of mayor and alderman was, I knew who Ronnie Hammonds was. And I am really sad to see Ronnie go, but I know he's got a grandbaby and he's excited. So Ronnie is just, he embodies what everything about the city of Kingsport staff is. We have the best city staff in the world. I truly believe that, and Ronnie was a big part of that. And I hope he enjoys his retirement and doesn't stay hidden too long. And I would also like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. We went and saw Santa, and we didn't have a meltdown. We were very unsure of what was going on, but we didn't have a meltdown, so improvement from year 1.
Okay.
And now I'm talking about myself. Landry did fine.
Lander is
Yeah,
say what
Landry
Landry
did fine.
did.
Yeah.
Are you
So
through?
that's all I've got. Everybody have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Ms. Adler?
Well, I believe before the next time the board meets, the Dobbins Bennett Marching Band will be marching in the Rose Bowl Parade on New Year's Day. So make sure you tune in to the Rose Bowl Parade to get to watch them. What an outstanding group of students who have committed so much time to make this possible. And thank you to the many community members who've helped support them to get them there, to the outstanding teachers that have helped teach them to get them to this point. But it will be a really super proud day for Kingsport, and so a good thing. If you're doing your last minute shopping, remember to do it locally. Thank you to all the merchants, especially, downtown has looked absolutely beautiful the last few weeks, and that takes a lot of work on the part of both city staff, but also merchants who have decorated their storefronts, and so thank you. Wishing very happy holidays to everyone, and I am hopeful for a bright and happy 2020.
Thank you. Season's greeting, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Tommy?
Well, first of all, I'd like to congratulate the Elizabethton Cyclones on winning the state championship in football. And I'd also like to put a new hat on, my basketball hat on, and start asking everyone to please go watch South play and the girls, and go watch North and their girls, and Dobbins Bennett and their girls. And I believe that concludes my remarks, Mayor.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, Tom.
Same to you. Merry Christmas to everyone here.
Alderman Duncan.
Well, everything's almost been kind of touched on. I'd just like to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone that's here and out watching on TV and all of our citizens. And let's just truly remember the reason for the season. So, Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, Daryl. Miss Cooper?
Like I said, everybody's kind of said everything. My goal this Christmas and my goal for everyone is just to slow down this time of year. I think it gets so hectic and we get so caught up in just stuff that we forget to slow down and just enjoy each other and enjoy the holiday. And I wasn't going to share this, but I found this on several weeks ago, and I've read it every night. And as I read it, it's my goal or my resolution for 2020. And it's also, as I read it, it's kind of the goal for our nation and our state and for Kingsport. It says, I'm walking into 2020 with a clear heart and mind. If you owe me, don't worry about it. You're welcome. If you've wronged me, it's all good. Lesson learned. If you're angry with me, you won. I'll let it go. If we aren't speaking, it's cool. I love you and I wish you well. If I've wronged you, I apologize. It wasn't intentional. I'm grateful for every experience that I've received. Life is too short for pent up anger, grudges, extra stress, or pain. Forgiveness is a gift to yourself. Make 2020 a year of forgiveness and a year of positivity. And that's what I wish for myself. And I've tried to read this every night just so that I can ingrain it in my brain. But I wish it for Kingsport and our nation too.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Ms. Vice Mayor?
Well, for the last 6 years, I have just really wished everybody a Merry Christmas because I truly love Christmas. I think this is the best season. I love the lights. I love the people. I love the love and the hope. And then after me, Mike McIntyre always kind of went over all the positive things that we did in this last year as a city. And since he's not here, I feel like I need to go ahead and go through kind of the list of some of the things that all happened in Kingsport this year. So y'all bear with me. Ryan McReynolds was named Public Work Leader of the Year by the Tennessee chapter of the American Public Works Association. Barry Brickey was named the 2019 Fire and Life Safety Educator of the Year by the National Fire Protection Association. The Kingsport Police Department took first place out of 55 entries in the Tennessee Highway Safety Office Annual Law Enforcement Challenge. The Kingsport Aquatic Center partnered with Visit Kingsport to host the International Marine Advanced Technology Education Remote Operating Vehicles competition. More than 800 students from 19 countries came to Kingsport to compete. We started the From the Desk podcast for Chris McCart. Linview Community Center received $450,000 grant from Tennessee Department of Health. The grant will fund several projects, including the track, building a new playground, and creating a new basketball court. We've done improvements to the Linview football stadium, including a new press box, metal bleachers that were completed this year. Kingsport received the Budget and Audit Excellence Award once again. Kingsport was named a Safe Community of America, one of only 19 cities in the nation to receive this honor. Kingsport received a National High Performance Award for the efficiencies in government. Kingsport received the EPA Safe Drinking Water Directors Award, Peak Performance Award, and Operational Excellence Award. The Kingsport Farmers Market debuted a new event, Evening at the Market, as part of a successful 2019 season. Dobbins-Bennett School opened its front doors to the new Science and Technology Center. Students have been in the building for an entire semester now. The Kingsport Aquatic Center began construction on an expansion which will include a new outdoor pool, a shaded pavilion, and administrative offices. Bays Mountain Park opened a new honeybee exhibit in the Nature Center and designed and crafted almost entirely in-house by their staff. Bays Mountain Park completed various infrastructure improvements, which was a parking lot expansion with over 100 new spaces, improvements to the dam, connecting to city sewer lines, and a repaved entrance road, which is wonderful. Another Greenbelt expansion is underway. This time we're going east. This section of the trail will include an elevated walkway and make the trail close to 10 miles long. The Kingsport Transit service completed the first phase of the new transit facility this year. So now we are at Sullivan and Main Street. The new facility is fully operational and allowed for 6 new routes, including one to Colonial Heights. The Inventor Center opened its doors in 2019. Lisa Winkle, CPA and Controller for Kingsport, officially took over the title of City Treasurer. She's the first woman to act as a treasurer in the city's history. Rodney Deal, Sanitation Supervisor, received the National Tennessee Chapter of American Public Works Association Charles Walters Nichols Award. And we also collaborated in a number of different events through Visit Kingsport with tournaments in baseball and basketball. We broke ground on the Miracle Field, which we're already underway, and I can't wait to have that finished. And over 6.5 miles of city roads were paved. This covers an area for Riverside, Stonegate, Cooks Valley, Harper's Chapel, and the projects at Bays Mountain. So those are just some of the things that we accomplished this year, and since Mike's not here, I'm doing that to go a year in review for him, and I do want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, Colette. The Vice Mayor's list mentioned several employees by name and some general accomplishments of the city government, and it reflects that, along with your comments about our retirees, do reflect great credit upon the professionalism and dedication of our workforce, and I really appreciate that, and I especially wish them a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. Well, we've come to the part where citizens get to comment, so let me read our standard statement, and then I'd like to expound on it just a little bit. Citizens may speak on issue-oriented items. Those are items of general civic interest. When you come to the podium, please state your name and address and sign the register that is provided. You're encouraged to keep your comments non-personal in nature, and they should be limited to 5 minutes. Last week I received an email from a lady, and she was, I won't say her name, but she had concerns about this particular portion of our meetings that citizens would continue to be allowed to speak, and I told her I did favor that we would have citizens allowed to speak. And because after I read her email, I called her and talked to her. And but what was sort of a disconnect for me in my mind was this lady thought that essentially the public could say anything to elected officials. Now, anything is pretty broad. Anything's anything, but no, that's not the rule. There is a line. Now, public is allowed to criticize us. That's fine. We're big folks. We're adults. They can comment on things that they think we could do better. There's a lot of leeway, but like I read here, the comments don't need to be personal in nature. There don't need to be insults. A person can make their point to the board without getting loud or abusive and so forth. We're all adults here. We can maintain calmness, rationality, and civility. It boils down to, when I was a child, my mom taught me to say please, thank you, and put my napkin in my lap, and just to be polite and civil in the way I addressed others. And that's all we expect. So, having said that, if there are individuals that would like to address the board, please come to the podium and we'll get started. If there's no one that wants to address the board, then state your name and address
Yes, I
for the
was
record?
about to do that. Danny Cook, Kingsport, Tennessee. It was advised to me tonight to not bring up any of the issues that we've had because it's Christmas time and, you know, everyone wants to be in a merry spirit. And the issue that I have with that is that it has not been merry. The issue that I have with that is that it would be stepping over the very real issues that we have in this city. For 13 months now, I've appeared before the Kingsport Board of Mayor and Aldermen on several different occasions to talk to you about our healthcare system, about laws that have been created, about potential solutions that you could participate in, and how you could represent the citizens of this region and in your community. And continuously, I have been told by members of this board that you hear us and there's nothing you could do, that you are in no way, shape, or form being influenced by ballot health or people connected to ballot health. And yet that's not true. Almost 2 weeks ago, I sat in this very building and read 498 documents. Despite the claims from a member of this board on social media, I have not requested all the emails of anyone. I did request all emails that were in reference to me, the peaceful protest, or the new ordinance that you all passed last month. I read each of your words in all of your emails. I now know clearly friend from foe. And so do the citizens of this community. I didn't release those emails, even though I had them for a solid week. Instead, I said very publicly, and I know that several of you have said you've watched all of my lives, so I know you heard me say, don't do this. Do not enforce this ordinance, because I knew the origins of the ordinance. And I told you that you would be violating the First Amendment and the Constitution. And you did it anyway. And in response to those actions, I then published your words. And we all know that there are more words to be published. I have been called a hate-filled, evil woman for submitting an open records request to find out who sent an email to a member of this board from another county's attorney and revealing that it originated from Andy Hall, a senior executive with Ballot Health. And I get it. It must be inconvenient after all the denials of any connection to Ballot to have that brought to light. But it does not make me evil. And while we are keeping our comments non-personal in nature, I would think that that would apply to this board in any way that you govern yourselves in any comments that you make about what takes place in this public forum. It doesn't make me evil, it makes me smart and able to send a FOIA request. It is that ability that also lets me know that the city of Kingsport knew almost 2 months prior to the city attorney making this statement to WJHL on November 4th, and I quote, "The sidewalks still are for pedestrian purposes, and you still have to maintain a clearance for people, one, to comply with the Americans with Disability Act, and also because that's what they're designed for," end quote. But you all knew we weren't blocking the sidewalks, and you knew that because on September 18th, 2019 at 2:02 p.m. with the subject ballot, Jim Hensley sent this to Assistant City Manager Ryan McReynolds and said, and I quote, "Went by Ballard protest area, a majority of the large signs are actually leaning against tents, but a few are actually yard sales type signs with smaller diameter metal sticks that stick in the ground. It was hard to see the sidewalk in part of the area due to tents and tarps, but looked open to pedestrians for the area that was visible," end quote. This same ability is how I know that two men who boast about taking an oath to protect the Constitution deliberately planned to violate said oath by targeting our First Amendment rights and free speech. It is hard for me to listen to you wish people a Merry Christmas when I've seen your words in written paper. It is hard for me to believe that you wish me well at all. And whether you like it or not, what I have done is fight tooth and nail to protect what we have lost, to right a wrong that has been done in this city, in this system, and in this state for the health and well-being of everyone. I have always been respectful standing here, always. And I will continue to do that because that is who I am. Not a single one of you dictates who I am as an individual. I carry that honor for myself and myself only. What I would ask of this board, for those of you who know that you've done wrong, is give this city a Christmas present and resign from your positions. Thank you.
I'm Joe Carr. I live at 408 Berkeley Road. Tonight I just wanted to say that I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the board, to the city, and to my fellow citizens. I know every time I come up here you guys are thinking, oh God, what's he going to say this time? I'm sorry, but somebody has to do it. You see, my great-grandfather helped lay the brick to J. Fred Johnson Stadium. My grandfather worked for this city his entire career. He built Industry Drive with 3 other men. He was in charge of our wastewater treatment center, and for his efforts, he had a street named after him. He had his retirement ceremony in this very room, and I know when I speak in front of this board, he's looking down on me, smiling. You see, I've got skin in the game. I've got a legacy to live up to. I'm not doing this because I have to. I'm doing this because I have a calling. And I'm sorry, it's nothing personal, but from a PR standpoint, some of the recent moves by this board have been a disaster. First the blocks on the benches, then the ordinance against the First Amendment rights of some of our citizens. Now talk of removing the public comment section from these meetings. At some point when you find yourself in a hole, you have to stop digging. The justification for removing the public comment section was, well, Johnson City did it, so why can't we? I'm sorry, but it'll be over my dead body that we become more like Little Chicago. I will never bow to those weasels in Johnson City who want to play God and turn our great city
Joe, I can hear you.
Yes, into their own personal metropolis for their own personal gain. And finally, I'd like to say to my fellow citizens of Kingsport, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but what we're doing right now isn't enough. It's great that more of us are attending these board meetings, speaking out and waking up, but it just isn't enough. We need to make sure we get our family, our friends, and our neighbors registered to vote. It has never been more paramount that we come together as a community and make our city a better place. And from this moment forward, we must draw a line in the sand. From this point on, we must only allow ourselves to be governed by people who put Kingsport first. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak to the board? If not, the meeting's adjourned.
Thank you for joining us for this evening's Kingsport Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting. This program has been a production of the City of Kingsport in cooperation with MC Productions, Milligan College,